Good morning. How you doing? It is Tuesday morning, in fact, and here we are at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time sharp with our second training of the week, and just giving it a little time for the audience to flow in here. We like a live audience. That's why we're doing these live. Anyway, before we get into our content today, let me bring on my co-host, Ronan Rahman, from behind the scenes.
Dun, dun, dun.
Exactly. Look at that.
We produce this almost as good as a convention.
Yes, almost. It's almost just like, yeah.
It's just so hard to tell the difference. So
really.
Anyway. Yeah. So three-part power profile. You're going to be sharing some slides.
Wait, that is not the topic. 3-point power profile.
Yeah. Why? What did I say?
3-part. I don't know what you said, actually.
You don't know. See, all right. Yeah, no. 3-point power profile.
There you go.
This is the next evolution in the conversation. This is you putting on your suit, getting ready to network.
That's right.
That Armani suit. So,
yeah, that's in my closet here.
Yeah. It is, yes, because you're such a fashionista. Yeah. But that's what we're going to do, and you're going to share some slides, right?
Yeah. I probably should do that at some point. So I'll take care of that this time because I didn't tee it up ahead of time.
Okay. So making you aware, I'll scoot out of here. We are live. So let me put up the reminder for everybody. Live. Ask questions, make comments, no trolling, and we will see you in a few, Brian.
All right. Okay. So I actually welcome trolls. Go ahead and troll me. That's fine. It's social media, so anything goes. But anyway, I digress. So the 3-point power profile, like Ronan said, it's really like just getting dressed up, right? You want to have a dressed up appearance for when people look at your LinkedIn profile. And there's a whole lot to the LinkedIn profile, and there's 3 that are really, really critical, and that's what we're going to cover today. So get your notepad out. Feel free to take screenshots of what I'm going to show you so that you can capture the moment, if you will, and refresh your memory on what we're covering. We're going to show a lot of different things regarding the profile today. So let me share my screen because I did not tee that up ahead of time. And here we go. So LinkedIn 3-point power profile. Here we go. I'm going to just break it apart here by showing you an actual profile screenshot. Okay, here's Dana Earhart. And I'm going to explain each of the 3 parts, and then I'll show you a number of examples of how these things come together. So the first one here is obviously Dana's. So number 1 is your profile photograph. That's your face, if you will, in the circle. A lot of times people get this wrong, and it's so simple to get it right. And so I'm going to share with you how to get it right. Number 1, if you can have a professional photographer create your social media profile photograph, that's awesome. Do that because they know what they're doing. They, they'll charge you anywhere from maybe on the low end, $100 up to maybe $300, depending on the photographer you select, and they do a great job. If you do not hire a professional photograph, you want to make sure that your profile photo at least includes the following. Number 1, a non-distracting plain background. So usually a solid color works best. As you can see here in Dana's, it's a solid sort of charcoal gray color. You can use white, you can use any color you want, but that works best typically. Other things that we've seen work okay or also well would be kind of a blurred out background as well, where you really aren't distracted by it, and you can't discern what is in the background itself. Avoid things like bookcases, plants, other people, landscape scenery, things like that. We want to see you, not what's behind you. And that's very important on your profile photograph. Number 2, you want it to be close up. You want it to be basically kind of a head and shoulder shot. This photograph appears oftentimes in a very, very small footprint, especially if somebody's looking at your profile on a mobile device. So you want it to be nice and close up so we can see your face. And speaking of your face, make sure that you are presentable. You have an inviting expression. Okay, that's number 3 is, look approachable, look like someone that we want to have a conversation with, look like someone who is going to be friendly and represent your brand in that way. So oftentimes a smile of some kind works best. In some cases, maybe not, but most of the time, a smile works the best of some kind. And then finally, make sure it's well lit. It can be difficult, depending on especially if you're not using a professional photographer. You want to try to avoid like shadows on your face and things like that. I will show you one example today where the shadow effect works for that particular person's brand, but for most of us, you want to be well lit. And that's kind of it for your photograph. Let's move on to point number 2 of your 3-point power profile, and that is your cover image, which is that big rectangular image across the top. And this is where a lot of people get it wrong. And they get it wrong because they don't understand how to use it. So think of this like a billboard. So do not put a lot of copy in here. Do not, write a paragraph of content in there. Number 1, it won't get read. And number 2, just as I indicated before, if someone's looking at this from a mobile phone, they're not going to see it. So if you're going to put any words at all, keep it short, simple, and large. So if you look here on Dana's, she's got 3 words: real, relatable results. That's a part of her brand, and she uses that throughout a lot of her other marketing materials. It works very well, and the words are very, very prominent, present, and readable. Definitely go ahead and put your logo if you have one. That's fine. And then for the rest of it, use a background image that represents you well, and is meaningful to you and or meaningful to represent your brand, and sort of, tells a little bit of a story in some ways. So here, Dana wanted to show a little bit about her relationship, if you will, with her son, and kind of, a little more personal, and that's fine. You can totally do that if it connects with your ideal prospect. And then finally, the third part of the 3-point power profile is your headline. Your headline is what appears below your name on LinkedIn. Most of the time, we see people that have not updated their headline. So what you'll see oftentimes on LinkedIn is somebody's job title and company name below their name. So it might be like CEO of some firm or something like that. That's because that's what LinkedIn defaults to. You want to edit that. You want to update that and create a meaningful headline that connects you with your ideal client, prospect, etc. Yesterday, we went over a formula called the market to message match formula that will help you create those headlines. So go ahead and review that from yesterday's training. It's still live on YouTube, our YouTube channel, Facebook channels, etc. But definitely update your headline. Really put some thought into that, because your headline, especially on LinkedIn, is presented in a lot of different areas. So for example, if you make a connection request to someone on LinkedIn, they see your headline right within that connection request. If you comment on a post on LinkedIn, your headline is appearing. If you make a post on LinkedIn, your headline appears. So it's a really, really powerful connecting and branding tool. So use it. And those are the 3 main points, and they're all right at the top of your LinkedIn profile. There's other things that we can cover, and we do cover in our more in-depth training, like your about section, your career section, getting recommendations and things like that. We're not going to cover that today. This is what I wanted to cover now, because it really is the first thing someone will see if they visit your LinkedIn profile. So let me show you some other examples so you can just see kind of how other folks have treated this. So here's Sergio Chavez. And in his case, you can see that his profile photograph is following all the guidelines that I just mentioned. I'm not going to rehash that. He chose to not put any words or logo in his cover photo. Instead, he chose to kind of show you a little bit of behind the scenes, like looking over his shoulder, literally, what it would be like working with him. He does Google ads and Facebook ads and things like that. And so here's a shot of him working with a client. And it's kind of cool because it shows you what it might be like to work with him. And of course, he's got a very well-crafted headline. So let me show you another example. Here is Ronan Rahman, my co-host and partner. Again, his photograph meets all the criteria. And also one thing I'll point out, everybody has a little bit of a different facial expression. Dana's showing some teeth. Sergio's got kind of his signature smile. Ronan's got his signature smile. Just make it you, but make sure it's inviting. And then for Ronan's profile, his cover image, we set appointments for people. So he chose an image that alludes to that, right? Because he's penciling in or fountain penning in this particular case, very, very sophisticated, Ronan, an appointment with somebody, and has our logo. So that is a good use of that image. And then I'm going to show you one other one here for Shannon Graham. And I'm showing you this for a couple reasons. One, his profile cover image and his photograph are shaded. And I said you should avoid that. In his particular case, it suits him. It's part of his brand identity. Very serious, very high end, if you will, in a lot of ways. And so this suits his personality. This suits his brand identity, and it works. So if it works for you, then you can choose to do that. And I wouldn't say he's smiling either. He's looking very professional, very serious, right? Because he's dealing with a very serious clientele, venture capitalists as one of his markets and things like that, and high-end CEOs. So it works for him, and it connects well. And his background image for his cover photo is just him, which is great. And it's just black, which is his brand color. So he uses his logo and, again, a few words: transformational coaching for visionary leaders. Again, very few words, easily to read on any device as well. So those are the 4 examples I wanted to show you. Those are the 3 points of the Power Profile: your photo, your cover image, and your headline. And those are the 3 areas, if nothing else, you want to get right. And so take some time today and tomorrow and update your LinkedIn profile using these recommendations, and share it with us. Go ahead and post a photograph of your LinkedIn profile. We're happy to comment and review it for you. I'm going to exit out of my screen share and come back to StreamYard. Here we go.
Yeah. So a couple of things. I've been really working and studying on lighting, and I have a friend of mine who's a filmmaker and is helping me out. So that whole shadow thing is referred to as the Rembrandt effect.
Oh, I did not know. Thank you.
Yeah, and it is something you do want to do in certain circumstances. However, in the profile pic, I would say not so much. Like, you really just want, because like you said, it's going to be in a mobile device, right? And if it's in a mobile device, it's too small to really appreciate that kind of lighting. But it's really cool. Anyway, it works for Shannon. It won't work for me.
No, you are a well-lit individual.
I need full on lighting for me. Yeah. And then, the cover image, the other thing about Dana's banner image that she has, it says something about her son, but her headline is about recapturing your nights and weekends. And it conveys a certain sort of freedom, right? Like, she's free to just do and be with her kid. She's not stressed out by work. So there's more than one message there, however subtle it might be, that we're working to deliver. And obviously, my banner headline, I went straight for the gut punch and said, I book appointments, and then you have somebody booking appointments, right? It's pretty direct. So, who knows? My creative side might come out with something else and switch it up. But same thing. This is you networking and going out there and meeting people and looking presentable. That's the way I equate it.
Absolutely.
So,
like tonight, we have a networking event. Woo!
Right. And it's going to be I'm going to go there and I'm going to be presentable, right? Because I'm meeting people and I want to have a good first impression, right? So that's the equivalent in my mind when you set up your profile properly. So good stuff. Tomorrow we evolve the conversation with messaging, right? So now you're at your networking thing, you're all dressed up. What do you say, right? And how do you behave?
What do you say and how do you say it? Absolutely.
Yeah, and so that's tomorrow's conversation, and I'm excited about it. I mean, it's going to just evolve everybody's ability to reach out and network on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. All right, then. Well, go out there, have a great Tuesday. And if you're in Las Vegas and you want to hang out with us, stop by the Sterling Club around 5 p.m.
Yep. Another networking event. All right. Cheers.